everyone. Welcome to another episode of Fandom Family Chats. I'm Jeanette. I'm your host tonight, and I am joined by Amanda.
Hello.
Tiffany.
Hello.
Eve.
Hey.
And Shelby.
Hi.
We have a full house tonight because we're also excited to talk about one of our favorite shows, One Tree Hill. Tonight, we're going to discuss the top 10 sweetest moments from the show. These are not necessarily romantic, although a lot of them are, but these are just the moments that warm our heart and we want to watch over and over again. So does anyone want to start with their number 10? Or I can start?
I'll go first.
Okay, go for it, Amanda.
All right. So my top 10 sweetest moment is not really a sweet moment as it is like sweet revenge moment. And that was when the dog ate Dan's heart.
You're evil, Amanda.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
Well, I think a lot of listeners will agree, so it's okay.
I snort laugh every time I see that scene.
Am I the only one that's so sad by that scene? Like, it's not.
It is sad. It's sad, but it's also really funny.
Yeah, it's both. It's definitely both.
It's sweet revenge,
Dan.
like I said. I do like Dan later on. Well, I mean, I don't love him. I never love him. But I like his character growth.
I learned to hate him less, is what happens.
Yeah.
It's a good
I'm
way
that
to put
odd
it.
man out. I love him by the end. So I don't know. Maybe I'm the weirdo. That's probably more the case.
Yeah, probably.
Shelby, did you have that on your list? Did you say you had that on your list somewhere too?
Yeah, I have that as number 10 also.
Okay. So see, you're not alone, Amanda.
We match.
Who wants to go next? I can read mine if you guys. My number 10 moment, and I'll start by most of my list is definitely either Brooke or Julian related. So I did try my best to throw in a few other moments so that this wasn't, a list only about them. And my number 10 moment is one of those. It's when Logan calls Quinn mom, because I just thought that was so sweet and just a nice little, I don't know, way to wrap up their story and have them one big happy family.
That almost made my list. That was a good one. I agree.
That was a good one. He was so cute. So, I mean, it was hard to not absolutely love that moment.
He was. I loved him. He was adorable. Their whole little family was just adorable.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. And you could tell it really meant something to Quinn too.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Who's next? Tiffany, Eve? Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
My number 10 was, I think it was season 4, right when Nathan was supposed to accept his scholarship for Duke. And he just found out Haley was pregnant, and he and Haley had just gone into a big fight, and then she ended up not going. And then he ended the speech with he said, where I play basketball, or if I play basketball, will be made with my family's best interests in mind. And then it goes back to Haley at Karen's house and she's crying, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's a good one. There's lots of good Haley and Nathan moments, for sure.
Yeah, they take up my list.
Yeah, I've got it. I mean, there are definitely a few on mine too. So, all right, what about you, Tiffany?
My number 10 moment was when they were going through the ordeal with Renee claiming that Nathan was the father of her unborn child. And when Haley showed up to the press conference right before she did the show with Dan, just like the way Haley showed up for Nathan when he needed her the most, just like he does for her.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was a really sweet moment there together.
Yeah. And I think that's what I love, most about them is they're always there for each other, even when, I'm not even sure if she actually fully believed him at that moment, but she was still there for him and she was still there to support him. And I think that's what makes them the strongest couple. I mean, you know, they're not my number one, but they're definitely the strongest couple and have been through the most.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, they have the most history for sure.
Definitely.
Especially with how young they were. Like, I know it's a TV show, but it always kind of just surprised me, like what all they made it through.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
they went through a divorce even. Like they got divorced after what was it, a year?
Hmm.
And they got back together and then they were stronger than ever. It's like that
Yeah.
doesn't usually happen with couples who marry that young.
Yeah. I'd say it doesn't. I mean, that's just rare in general. I feel like. I mean, they've been through more than even couples that, you know, didn't get together that young. So,
Yeah, I think that's kind of what makes the show a little bit more special, just because it was
Mhm.
as a young girl watching it in high school, I was like, oh, of course that would be me.
Right.
Right.
Like when I
Right.
grow up, I'll be like Haley.
Oh, of course.
Exactly.
And my best friend will own a clothing store. And
Right. Wouldn't that be so wonderful?
And write my kid checks with lots and lots of zeros.
Lots of
Oh,
zeros.
sure.
Mhm.
my
And I
goodness.
think it's rare just in general. It's like TV shows to see most of these like teen dramas. You rarely see a couple that stays together the entire time. And I mean, neither one of them strayed. I mean, other than the one kiss with Chris Keller. I mean, it was them from the beginning till the end, you know, so
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's very rare for shows, especially nowadays.
Yeah, definitely.
Shelby, what's your number 10 was the dog too.
The same as
Uh-huh.
yours.
So what about number 9? What do you have, Amanda?
All right. Number 9 is going to be Luke and Peyton at the state championship. That is
Oh, that's a
You-
good one.
Yeah.
It was more at the top of my list, but the more and more I was moving everything around, there's just so many sweet moments in this show. It was
There
so hard
is.
to put them into 10.
I
So
changed
they
my
got,
list.
yeah,
Yeah. I changed my list so many times
I did too.
and reorganized it, added some, dropped some. It was really hard to just decide on 10.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I kept a few from beginning to end, but
Hmm.
they moved.
I even have a couple honorable mentions at the end in case we have extra time, because they were just ones that I was like, okay, I'm going to leave these here just in case I can talk about them.
You have an 11 and 12?
And a 13. Yeah.
Of course. What was your number 9?
My number 9 was when Nathan tells Haley that he's in the NBA. And I just love that moment when, you know, just the look on her face of how proud she is, and what does he say? And then he, you know, he's like, thanks for always believing in me, and her words of thanks for being worth it. I mean, it's just a
Oh,
really awesome moment, you know. And then you can even lump in a little bit of, you know, when Jamie finds out too, but that moment was really sweet just because of just the sheer relief and, you know, pride that was all over her face when he told her.
oh yeah. That was my number 3.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was my number 7.
There you go. I figured that one made a lot of people's list. That's a good one.
Right, Eve?
That one was actually not on my list. I know, I'm gonna get kicked out of the group now. No, my number 9 was when the guys all went to Jimmy's funeral,
Yeah.
because I don't know, I mean, we all knew that Jimmy was innocent in the whole Keith shooting thing, but I mean, no one else knew that at the time. And I mean, I saw his mother standing there. I was like, that
Mhm.
poor woman, like no one should have to bury their child alone. Like that's sad.
Right.
And then the guys like came over the hill, and I don't know, that made me
It was a
feel
good
warm
moment.
and fuzzy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Definitely.
And Karen was even yelling at Luke before he left that he can't go, he shouldn't go. And the only reason he went is because it's what Keith would have done.
Yeah.
And he knew that. He knew that even if he really did shoot Keith, you know, Keith would have gone.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And that was a really good moment showing Lucas's character, that he was able to kind of put that aside, because I mean, that was probably really tough. I can't even imagine, going to a funeral of someone that you think, murdered the only father, really, that you've ever known.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
So that was impressive. Yeah. I don't know that I
could do
would. I don't know that I could either. So, that's a really good moment.
Oh yeah. Tiffany, what was your number 9?
My number 9 was the 82 love letters with Brooke and Lucas.
Yes.
The ones that she wrote from over the summer, but she was too afraid to send him. I'm not a big Brucus fan.
Yeah.
However, I love that moment. I thought it was, really sweet, and she really put herself out there and, just left her heart on her sleeve for him. And it was just really sweet. And the way he reacted after, she had slept with someone else was, he just, I forgive you, just instantly right there. That doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen in real life.
Right. There were a lot of Brucus moments that I almost put on my list because it's hard to say that I am a Brucus fan because of Julian. It's like, obviously they're my number one couple, but had he never come into the picture, had he not come into the picture, I would have been Brucus till the end. I'm not going to lie about that. So there were a lot of them that I almost put on the list, but I was like, no, I'm going to save room for some other stuff, but I was close. Because I almost put the rain scene with them where, she's telling him like, I wanted you to fight for me. And, he's telling her all about, or I guess those are two different scenes, but both of those scenes where she's like, I wanted you to fight for me. And then he's like, if I have to stand out here, I can't remember the exact line, for however long, it's just really sweet. I enjoyed those moments too. So they had some good ones.
They did. They had a
They
lot
did.
of
They were
good
sweet
moments.
together.
Yeah.
Shelby,
What about you,
was
Shelby?
number 9?
My number 9 was Brooke with the twins. When she found out that she was pregnant and she had them and everything, it was just really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Like she finally got the man of her dreams, and then she finally got the kids that she wanted, and it was just like, oh, you got your happily ever after. Good for you after all your changes, and
Yeah, that's number 6 on my list. So that was there.
That's number 1 for me.
Is it?
Yes, just seeing her go, you can tell she wanted kids from so many years before that. I don't want to say from season 1, but
From season 5 though.
That's
season 5,
definitely
Yeah.
the very beginning of season 5 when she started the whole, adoption process and everything.
Oh,
So
yeah.
her whole adult life anyways, that's what she's wanted.
just seeing I said seeing Brooke with the boys after having them, and that was just because it was like finally.
Yeah and not just even her, but when she told Julian, just I don't know, it was just such a sweet moment, like the look on his face, how happy they were after so much, not just what she had been through, but with where they tried to adopt and the birth mother changed their mind, and all of those struggles that they had been through. It was definitely a nice moment for them.
It really was.
I just feel like I don't know. Well, I wasn't the biggest Brooke fan from the jump. And I just feel like that was kind of like a really like turning point for her. Like, you've really changed since high school. Like, you're so good with Jamie, and you finally got your happily ever after.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. All right, I guess my number 8. Did everybody go? All right, so my number 8 is Lucas throwing Haley and Nathan the reception after their first wedding.
Yeah.
I love that moment. I love that him and Nathan were still not the best of friends at that point. So that was a real big Lucas heart sweet moment for me.
Especially since Deb and Dan were obviously less than thrilled with him.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was nice to, just see someone, because I think, they were feeling like they weren't being celebrated at all. So it was nice for him to do that, just to give them a place to celebrate, even though, yes, they were young and everyone was concerned with whether that was the right decision, but it was already done, why not celebrate it and be there to be supportive. And so that was what he did. It was nice. And his speech, I'm trying to remember, it's been a long time since I've seen that season, I think. But I remember his speech that he made was a really, really good one too, I think.
It was. I can't remember exactly like
I know, I wish I could quote it. Sometimes I can quote these, but I can't quote that one. So it was good though. We'll just leave
was a
it
good
there.
one. It's up there.
Yeah.
Jeanette, what was your
Okay.
number 8?
My number 8 is it's a Jamie moment. It's also a Brooke moment, but it's after Brooke was attacked and she's talking to Haley and Jamie and she's saying, I wish I had a family like this. And Jamie, being the sweet, adorable child he is, tells her, you do, your Aunt Brooke. And I just thought that was so sweet and just, it made her feel so good. And it showed, that's just who Jamie was. I mean, he was like the best, the sweetest little kid, ever. But that was just a happy moment, and it was a nice moment to start seeing the relationship that she had built with Haley,
Oh yeah.
So that's my number 8.
I love that one. I didn't even think about that one.
That's
But
one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
There are too many moments. I had a hard time picking.
I agree.
I think we did. Eve, what was your number 8?
My number 8 was, again, it has to do with Jimmy. And I know this is an unpopular opinion, talking so much about Jimmy, but
No.
my number 8 was when, right before graduation, when Mouth had everybody sign Jimmy's yearbook. It was right after he and, gosh, what's her name? That girl who came back in the later seasons and we suddenly hated her. The
Gigi?
girl who did,
Gigi?
yeah, Gigi. He and Gigi had just gone through making sure that he was actually included in the yearbook. Like they got that picture and put it in his yearbook and he had everyone sign and then he brought it to his mom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I forgot all about that.
I did too. That was
That's
a
a good
really good
one.
one.
And just seeing everyone flock towards his yearbook, I was like, wow, that's a lot of people wanting to sign his yearbook. That's really nice.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
very sweet moment.
That's nice.
Yeah, I had that in my honorary mentions.
Okay.
That's definitely one of my favorite moments too.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you have more than 10 as well.
It's hard to pick just 10,
It was. Yeah.
It
At
was
first I
hard
thought I
to-
was going to be like, how am I supposed to pick 10? And then I was like, how am I supposed to only pick 10?
I had a hard time ordering mine. Like I knew what my favorite one was, like my number one, but the rest I was like, I don't know.
I reorganized so many times. Definitely. I mean, I couldn't decide which is. So, I mean, this order still may not be my exact, 10 through 1, but they're my top 10 in some order, some fashion. What about you, Shelby? Or are we up to Tiffany? Okay, sorry.
My number 8 was Lucas and Nathan in season 6 when they were doing the walkie-talkies after Lucas and Peyton had just watched Jamie. Yeah, I just thought that little brotherly love connection there that they, missed out on as kids, that they're actually now getting to do as they're having their own children, was just a really sweet moment between Lucas and Nathan. I like the little sweet moments when they, finally accept each other as brothers.
Especially when Nathan looked at when I think Haley asked him, hey, what are you doing? Playing walkie-talkie with my brother.
Yeah.
That actually is one of my favorite moments of the entire show. And for some reason, it's not on my list.
I almost put it on my list. It was one that was on there and then it got bumped. And it was on there for a little while, but I love it
thinking
too.
Too hard.
Yeah. We should have done top 20. There's no way to pick top 10.
We'll
Way
have
too
more
hard.
podcasts.
Yeah. There we go.
We can fit in more. Shelby, what was your number 8?
My number 8 was when Haley first started like tutoring Nathan, and Haley still wasn't Nathan's biggest fan because of Lucas, but Nathan gave her that Cracker Jacks bracelet. I thought that was the cutest thing ever. Like it was so high school, like so like something that a high school boy would do. I just thought it was adorable.
Yes. And I love that the bracelet comes back. Like it doesn't just go away. Like
It was
No,
a pretty
I mean-
pivotal moment. Like it was brought up again and again.
yeah. It wasn't just a one-time thing. That was a very special thing for both of them.
That was another one that almost made my list, but it didn't. But it was real close to getting on there.
Okay, so number 7.
Mhm.
All right, my number 7 is a Lucas and Peyton. Not
Okay.
again. And it was when they went to Vegas.
Mhm.
That's I can't believe it's number 7, but it was further up earlier, I swear.
Yeah.
But them, I guess, again, just like it was with Brooke and the boys, it was a finally they're together
Mhm.
after all these back and forth and back and forth. You know, they were finally together.
Yeah.
It was okay.
That was a good one. We know, I mean, I'm not, my number 7 is actually a Leighton moment too, even though, well, you all know, like, I'm not really a big fan of them as a couple at all.
They're not my favorite either, but they
Mm-mm.
did have some sweet moments.
I mean, they're probably like my least favorite. I know that's awful. But my number 7 is their wedding, because even though they're one of my least favorite couples, there's something about, I mean, I cry at their wedding every single time I watch it. And maybe it's just maybe it's like you said, we've been seeing this back and forth for so long, just seeing them get their happy ending finally, and just, Haley officiating was just cute. And I mean, there was just so much to the wedding, and just thinking about like all that they had been through too. I mean, and her being pregnant at the time, and not knowing where that was going to go. It was a good moment. I like that one.
I do want to mention on top of that, though, that Haley's officiating that wedding would probably be on my list of funniest moments. Where she was quoting "Every Rose Has Its Thorn."
Every rose, and she's like, really poison?
Really? Every rock song in the history of rock, and that's the one you picked.
That was really funny. And then wasn't that the wedding? Yeah, that's the wedding too, where Skills had Jamie like on a leash or
On a
whatever.
leash,
So I mean, that was just a great episode altogether.
It
I
was.
like when Jamie trades the dog out for himself.
Yes.
Doesn't even notice.
And then
He's
you've
like,
got what
dude, come on, man, you're
the
killing
whole
me.
Brooke and Julian back and forth with their dates, and I don't know. That's a great episode altogether. It's probably one of my favorites.
Wow, that one's up there for me. It's not on
Yeah.
my list though, because I was getting some Leighton moments.
Yeah.
in
That was my one
list.
late moment. I was like, I'm not in mentioning anymore. That's the one spot it gets.
Yeah, I don't have any more.
Yeah. That's it.
All right.
What
Eve.
about you, Eve?
My number 7 was Haley's maid of honor speech at Julian and Brooke's wedding, where she was talking about the first time I met Brooke Davis. And I remember that episode very clearly, that night that she was talking about, where I think Brooke was high on like some pain meds that she'd taken, because I think it was her ankle or something. Like she hurt her ankle and she took
Yeah,
a
was that
bunch
the
of
best?
pain meds. So
Yeah,
so she was like, oh no, Haley, I don't like that. I'm gonna call you Brooke.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she ended the speech with talking about how she has, such a big heart.
Mhm.
And,
And
just
she-
to see how they went from that to her being the maid of honor,
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I know it's a little bit unpopular opinion with some, but I mean, I think that the Haley and Brooke friendship is a much stronger and better friendship than Brooke ever had with Peyton.
Definitely. I loved their friendship towards the end.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing too is that, Peyton and Brooke, the most of their friendship we ever really saw was them as teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as Haley and Brooke's friendship, that was more of an adult friendship that we got to see. So I know my friendships when I was a teenager were definitely not as strong as the friendships I've now as an adult. So
That's
I
true.
don't know if that kind of plays into it at all.
Yeah, it could. That's true.
Yeah. Tiffany, what's your number 7?
We already did my number 7. That was when
Oh.
Nathan made the NBA.
Oh, okay. All right.
Shelby?
I have when Jamie found out that Hugh died.
Oh.
I know it's not really a sweet moment, but it's kind of like a sad sweet moment, because like my heart just broke for him
Mhm.
and I
Definitely.
cried. like bawled my eyes out.
That was a very hard. I think that was the one of the hardest deaths. That was, I think, the hardest death for me.
I'm still not
Yeah.
over it.
I think so
Montreal.
too. Yeah, definitely.
I loved Q. Like as far as he came and everything, and then for him to just kill them all, for them to kill him all, I was so mad. Like so mad. And then when they told Jamie about it, it killed me.
Oh yeah, that was definitely really sad. Oh, poor Q.
He seemed like he was just there for such a short time, and then
Mhm.
they really got you attached to him and his story, and got him involved with the whole family, and then shoot him. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, took him away from us. It was awful.
I don't know much about like the backside of One Tree Hill. Like, was that whole thing planned, or did the actor just decide he wanted to leave, or what?
I don't know,
I'm not sure either, to be honest.
but
Because,
I
like,
will
having that
research
big of a-
it and get back to you.
Yeah, now I want to
having that
know.
big of a comeback,
That's
it's just
because that's
Turn the
definitely
dial.
sorry.
no, you're okay.
That's definitely something they do on soap operas, though. When someone wants to leave, like that's one of the ways they get rid of the act, like they get rid of the character. Or, I mean, they did on Grey's Anatomy with Derek too. So, I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah, now.
Okay, so I did just look it up. I'm
What's it
fast.
say?
All right.
Impressive.
It says that he left because he was going to do Hellcats.
Oh, and that show failed. So that was a big mistake.
That was a bad gamble.
Yeah, wrong choice.
Should have stuck around.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're at number 6.
Yes.
Okay, my number 6 moment moved around a lot. And it was Sam calling Brooke mom.
That's a good one. That's one of my honorable mentions too.
Yeah, mine too.
That was a hard moment because it was during like a tragedy
Right.
when she said it, but at the same time, it was so sweet.
Yeah. And I think that's what kept Brooke, grounded in that moment, that from doing something that she would have regretted. So it was good. I miss Sam. Sam was one of those characters I wish we had seen again.
I know. I loved her and Jack. I loved that whole
Yeah.
storyline.
But how her storyline,
Although she left, but
sorry, how her storyline ended really wasn't terribly satisfying. It's like she just
No.
went off to live with her biological mom, and then that was it.
yeah. And I know she left. I don't know if she left for Awkward or if she just happened to get it afterwards. But I mean, that show was pretty amazing. So I can't get mad at her for going to that, but
She was in a few
don't know.
things.
yeah.
I don't think we could have kept Jack around since he went to
Oh no, he made good choices afterwards.
did.
So,
American Horror Story.
and then he played Quicksilver in one of the X-Men movies? I don't know. He was in one of the movies where he was Quicksilver.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It
he's
was
dead
one of the
well.
X-Men movies.
Yeah.
All right.
We've already done my number 6. It was Brooke when we found out she was pregnant.
Eve.
My number 6 is Julian's proposal.
Oh,
When he just, I think he said, "Oh, Jamie gave me a star for good luck. Do you want to see it?" And Brooke was like, "Yes." And then he
Yeah.
holds out his hand. It's her ring, and I was like, "Oh, this is the moment I've been waiting for."
yes. Yes.
And
how
then
sweet.
they had their wedding, and I said, "No, never mind. This is the moment."
They kept having moments. This is why my list was so hard to make. Every moment was like, this is the one I waited for. And then another one happened. And so that's why I've got a whole list of Julian moments. And I love his relationship with I was just going to say, because she was talking about how Jamie gave him the star, just like him and Jamie. I mean, was that not the cutest? I mean, Jamie, his best man, and just, I think I almost put a couple different like Julie and Jamie moments on my list, but I didn't have enough room, so I couldn't. But I just think that their relationship was really adorable too.
There's so many Q and Jamie moments, and
Yeah.
Jamie and Haley moments, and I mean, there's.
Yeah.
I think I could do top 10 Jamie list only.
I was gonna
Exactly.
say that.
Fine.
Yeah.
Like
He's
the
just
moment
such
I
a-
watched, I was just gonna say, I mean, totally off. I mean, it's not really off topic because we're talking about Julian and Jamie. But I just watched this episode the other day where they all go camping, which is just a hilarious episode in general. But where Jamie is scared to do like the rappelling, and Julian, it's like, oh, I think I'm just gonna walk. I'm scared, and he does that just so that Jamie doesn't have to and doesn't have to be scared. That's one of my favorites. But yeah, I just watched that the other day, so that one's fresh in my mind.
I just watched that one today too.
Did you?
Yes.
I love that episode.
Yeah,
Oh.
the proposal was my number 4 on the list as well. So
Okay. It didn't make my list, but only because there were so many other Julie and Brooke moments that I was like, all right, I gotta cut something. So I cut that one. But
It's an honorable mention
yeah,
for you.
yeah. Number 14.
Tiffany, did we already discuss your number 6 moment?
no, my number 6 is when Brooke and Victoria finally start to patch up their relationship after Julian has his conversation with Victoria, where she says that she's been a terrible mother and she's got a bright, strong, kind-hearted, beautiful daughter, and she should have loved her more and the company less. Just her actually finally realizing that and admitting it to Brooke, that was just a really sweet moment to me, because
And she
Brooke's
actually-
literally been waiting for that her entire life.
And not just that, but she actually meant it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was my number 4, by the way.
Was it? Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah, I think what she said was something like, I have a beautiful, talented daughter and I've nearly broken her.
Mhm.
And she meant every word. So I was like, oh, I think I have to like Victoria now.
Right.
Yeah. Victoria was another one that I had a hard time disliking, even though I was supposed to, just because I don't know. I thought she always made me laugh, like even though she was being terrible.
I loved her relationship with Sam. I thought that
I
was
was-
just so
Yes.
funny.
I was getting ready to
She's
say
dark and
that.
plucky.
Yeah, she's like, I like her. She's dark and plucky. With that first interaction where she comes into the house and after she leaves and Sam's like, she frightens me or something, or she scares me. And
She's
Brooke's
just
like, yeah.
standing there with her hair all
Hair's all
She
crazy.
frightens me.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Her hair is all crazy.
Yes,
I can just see it in my head right now.
me too.
What about you? Number 6.
Mine was Superman capes for bullies. So when Jamie was getting bullied, and I'm pretty sure it was Nathan, or it might have been Q. It was one of the two. Said about making Superman capes for like all the kids since he was getting bullied from having his on. And then I just thought it was so cool how like I'm pretty sure pretty much immediately after that Jamie and Chuck became friends.
They did. That was the kind of their beginning of their actual friendship.
Right.
I love Jamie. He was my favorite character. Well, one of the favorite characters.
I love him too.
Definitely. Okay, so number 5 is Peyton having Sawyer, making it through, pulling through, and finally holding her. That was my number 5 sweet moment.
That was good because I remember watching that live. Like this was during the time, I didn't start until season 5 watching it live, but like I remember being worried. I didn't know which way they were going to go with this.
Yeah.
I thought, because I think I had read somewhere that she wasn't coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure, like, I thought they were going to kill her. So I'm glad they
Same.
didn't. I mean, I think it was nice to see them get their happy ending too.
Yeah. I think I would have been real mad if they killed Peyton off after all
After-
that.
After all they put us through, getting back, yeah, it would have been tough.
I would not have been happy.
No.
Did we already say your number 5, Jeanette?
No, my number 5 is really, it's kind of more than just one moment, but I had to lump them together. I have them just like all of the Naylee rain kisses, because I was like, I couldn't pick just one that I liked more than the other. So
The
we've got,
first
you know, well, but I mean, all of them are so good. You know, I mean, the first one is great just because I feel like it was so surprising. I mean, I know we saw them like, you know, kind of flirting and all that, but I remember watching and being like kind of shocked that, you know, he kissed her like that. So I mean, that was fun. And then the second one is after they're trying to get back together when she's been on tour, correct? And he goes outside to get where he's like kept all those clippings of her like when she was on tour, like all the newspaper clippings and everything, and they're
think
blowing
so.
away.
I
Isn't
think
that the same night?
that's
Yeah.
it's in my head that way, but
I think it is. And that moment I think was really sweet to see that even though he was obviously upset with her and you know, mad at her, that he was still proud of her. And so that's, you know, kind of defining of their relationship and how they've always been. And the last one's just great, you know, after he's been gone all season and we finally get to see them back together. All of the Nayland rain kisses.
that was my number 2,
Yeah.
was the first Naylee kiss.
Okay.
That was my
This is
favorite.
my way of being sneaky and getting 3 moments in there by lumping them together.
All right. Eve?
We're on number 5.
4. No,
Four?
yeah.
No,
5.
I lost count.
Mhm.
5.
Yeah.
My number 5. Sorry, I had to count. My number 5 was it's Dan on his deathbed. What he was talking to Haley, and he said, I used to think you weren't good enough for my son, and I've never been more glad to be proven wrong. And then he went on to say that she's the best thing that ever happened to him. And Nathan was the best thing that ever happened to him, Dan. And Haley was the best thing that ever happened to his son. I just thought it was a sweet moment because after all of this time where he still thought Haley wasn't good enough for him, I was like, are you kidding me? When are you finally going to see?
Yeah.
And he's on his deathbed and he says that. I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
Now I can like you.
Yeah. See, now Dan's death, that was probably the one that's hardest on me, to be honest. Like, even after like so much, it was just, I don't know. I bawl every time. That's the one that gets me. Am I the only one? Y'all are gonna leave me hanging here that I'm the only one that gets sad when Dan dies.
No, I get sad too.
Okay, good.
It's like the
No,
end.
well,
It's like the end of an era, and like we know that the show is coming to an end at that point, like very, very soon, within the next couple episodes. But still, like with Dan dying, it's like, oh well, that's
mhm.
the end.
And then even Keith comes and gets him and they walk away together. I mean, it's just such a perfect moment.
He's his +1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that
I
they
like it.
they had Keith walk him out. I like that. That was a nice little
Yeah.
touch there.
Yeah.
And I think I think that's how it would have been. I mean, Keith was just the kind of guy that I think he would have forgiven Dan for this. I mean, that's just who he was. I mean, it was his, you know, little brother, no matter what, you know, so a nice way to end it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Shelby, is Dan's dying on your list?
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
I'm waking her up. I said, is Dan on your list?
No. But to be fair, that was kind of like, I don't know, like after seeing him how he was with Jamie, and then after he saved Nathan from the kidnapping and stuff like that, like that was kind of a turning point for him for me. So even though like I didn't really like him like the whole series, and then like he actually like turned into like a decent person, it was sad that he passed away when he did.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. Tiffany, what are your thoughts on Dan?
I have a love-hate relationship with Dan. I mean, I don't like, you know, most of his choices that he's made in his life, but I definitely did like him more closer to the end of the series. He's definitely redeemed himself and made up for a lot of things with, you know, Lucas and Nathan. So he did redeem himself a bit in my book. He still wasn't my favorite character by far, but I didn't hate him at the end of the series. I'll say
That's
that. I
fair.
didn't hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hate him at the end of the series. Really, after he, saved Nathan and blah 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 blah, all the good stuff that he did.
Yeah.
But I
He's not
still,
my.
I never fully forgave him.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't ever fully forgive him just because I don't know. I guess all the having Jimmy take the blame, I think that really did a number
Yeah.
on
That
me.
was pretty bad.
I think that's one of the things I was more mad about than even him killing him, which was still very upsetting to me. But having a teenager take the blame for it, I mean,
Yeah.
that was lower than low.
So much about. We could have I feel like we could do a whole episode about Dan. We'd have so much to say. Like there's so much involved with everything.
That'd be a fun one. We should do that.
It would be, right? I'm gonna need another Dan supporter to join me though. So I'm not like alone on my ship. No, he's not my favorite. Though. I
Listeners
want
out
to
there.
clear that up. He's not my favorite, but he's probably in my he's definitely in my top 10. So
Shelby or Tiffany, did we do your top moment, your number 5 moment?
My number 5 was when Sam runs away after her and Brooke have their big fight, and she goes to look for her and realizes that Julian is also actually helping to look for her, even though he tells her, I'm not that guy. I'm just getting coffee.
see, me and Tiffany, we know that's my number 2 moment on my list.
That almost made my list. That's an honorable mention, I guess.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the first time we see like the Julian really is like a good guy and not just this guy that he's been painted so far, that he's come back in just to mess up things for Peyton. I mean, he's really a good guy, and just the whole, and seeing Brooke realize it too, I think was cool when she sees him throw the coffee away, like knowing that he wasn't there just to get coffee.
Yeah, I really like that moment for Brooke. You can just see the realization on her face when she sees the coffee go in the trash. Just like,
Right.
oh, he is the guy that I
He
thought
is
he
that
was.
guy. Yes.
Yep.
And that was after, like, here she's had so much disappointment. I mean, she's tried to speak to a cop who's completely blown her off. She went to Owen, and Owen was Owen again, and just, like, oh, she'll come back. That's not, I mean, she needed someone else to be concerned.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so Julian being that person was definitely, that was the beginning of it all.
Yes.
That was a sweet moment. I do like that one. I agree with you. Shelby, what was your number 5? Did we say it
Okay.
already?
So I kind of did what Jeanette did and cheated a little bit. I loved all of the Lucas Haley like hugs, their friendship hugs. I absolutely love that in this show there was a boy and a girl who were just friends and never pushed that.
Mhm.
And the fact that they were there for each other like through everything. I mean, even since they were kids, like before the show even like showed how young they were. Like, I think I even made an edit the other day and posted of like their first hug in the show and then like their last one at the airport when he comes to get Jamie when Nathan's missing.
Yeah.
It's just they had like that forever friendship that everybody wants, and they were so supportive of each other. Like Lucas warned Haley about Nathan, but even when she didn't listen to him, he was still there for her. Like even when Nathan was being Nathan, it was just beautiful.
Oh yeah. I love their friendship. And that you really don't see that in many shows,
You don't. Yeah.
You do. You have the occasional boy girl friendship, but usually in other shows, it always turns.
Yeah, I mean, someone has a crush on someone. I mean, it's usually, and they made it clear several times when they're like, ugh, like, no, they had no.
That was a more brother sister
Yeah.
relationship. And I'm glad they never took that
Me too.
to another place. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, it was nice.
All right, we are on number 4. My number 4 again, I didn't do like one specific moment, but I did want to just mention how sweet the Brooke and Victoria relationship went. You know, I liked seeing their relationship form and getting closer, and Victoria opening up more. I did. I like their, I don't feel like that's something anybody ever talks about.
Yeah,
I
especially
like their,
where they started from and then where they ended up, I think was such a huge transition. And then seeing her as, you know, a grandma was entertaining. And I mean, you know, just fun to watch her with the boys. And it was,
their mother-daughter relationship was never perfect. Like it was never the typical mother-daughter relationship, and they never fully got to that point, but still, I mean, she did come a really long way, like you said.
yeah. Yeah, they don't get talked about nearly enough, but I agree. I like their relationship a lot.
I do too. I think just like Dan and, you know, that relationship and that character grew. I feel like this, we can say the exact same for Victoria.
Yeah,
Her relationships and her character grew tremendously
I agree.
than some other characters.
Yeah.
I do. I like their little abnormal, crazy relationship they ended up having.
I agree. I love it.
Jeanette, 4.
Okay, my number 4 moment is in the final season, after when Nathan finally comes back and, you know, he sees Haley at, is it wherever he sees her for the first time, and, you know, he's like, hi Hales, like he always says, and she does the whole say it again, and he says it again. And that moment, I mean, I feel like it's such a relief, you know, because we haven't hardly seen him like all season. And you know, just seeing her face, I mean, it's just such a beautiful moment. And I've always loved how he called her Hales, and I'm kind of glad that kind of came back in that moment, that, you know, they kind of pointed that out. I don't know, I love it.
That was my number 2, and my heart always starts racing like at that episode.
Yes,
every single time I see that episode, my heart is racing, like when she storms into the hospital. Love it.
Such a good moment. Such a good moment.
That was on my list, and then I got taken off my list. Well, just because I was having a lot of Haley and Nathan moments, and I was like, okay, I gotta
calm it down.
I gotta choose here.
Yes.
So let's say that was an honorable mention for me.
There you go.
It was on my list. That was a relief. It was a sweet relief moment when that happened.
Definitely. I mean, you know, and I think as the audience, we all felt it too, and we could see that on her face. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jeanette, what was your number 4? Did we say it? Or no?
That's fine. That's what we were talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, Hales. How about Eve? What do you got, Eve?
My number 4, I think Tiffany mentioned it earlier. It was when Victoria gave Brooke complete control of the company. And her like turnaround moment.
Yep. That's
a good one.
Definitely.
I agree. Tiffany?
Mine was the proposal for Brooke and Julian. So I'll do one of my honorable mentions, which was when Haley went to visit Nathan and they did that picnic in the house. Where was it? Charlestown, I think.
Charleston. Yes, Charleston.
Yes.
I forgot about that one.
I really liked that episode. That was really sweet.
That's a good one.
That was a really
How did I forget that
episode.
one?
Yeah, I just watched that one today too.
Yeah, because they have it's so sweet just to hear him talk about, you know, like encouraging her to, you know, do her music again. And just that was one of my favorite things about them, is how they like encouraged each other to like pursue their dreams, and we're always there to be supportive.
Yeah, they definitely were always supportive of each other. That was why they were my second favorite couple.
Me too.
Shelby, what was your number 4? Did we
My
say it
number
already?
4 was Jamie and Q dancing in the gym.
Oh, that was a good one.
I love that. I just think it's so cute because like in that same episode was when, which this was on my list too, but it got cut. In the same episode was when Nathan was talking to Skills about the internet person dating Deb, and then like I forgot what happened, but they started playing the music and Jamie and Q just started like dancing together. It was just so cute. I love their
love it.
relationship so
I do
much.
too. And then that's the same episode. Doesn't Nathan try to jump in there and do it too? And like they kind of look at him like, okay, old man, like, no, you just go sit down.
It's the
And
same
then
one where Jamie and Haley are dancing to it together. Isn't that the same episode?
Well, maybe,
I
yeah.
think
Right after
so.
that,
And he
Nathan's
says,
kind of
"Go to bed,
watching
Jamie."
them.
It's like, okay, you dancing
Yeah.
full time for bed. You too, Jamie.
Yes, that's what it is. That's funny. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good few moments.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Number 3, is that where we're at?
Number 3 was my You're in the NBA.
Okay.
So we've already covered that one. What was yours?
Well, mine's been covered sort of. I mean, I don't know. My number 3 is the Brulian wedding. I just kind of lumped it all together. Did we talk about that? I don't know if we talked about the wedding, maybe. But
Briefly, I mentioned the
Barely.
maid of honor speech.
yeah, their vows I think are just one of my favorite like lines from the whole show. I wish I should have wrote them down so I could have read them to everyone and we could have all been like, oh, together. But I mean, Julian, just the way he talks about how, before he met Brooke, that he thought his life was together, and then now that he has, that his other life wouldn't make him happy anymore because he just would always be missing her. And it's just such beautiful words that Amanda, you have them.
I have
You got to
them
read them for
right
us.
here, guys.
Let's hear them.
You were
They
on a
need to be read.
roll.
I have multiple computers surrounding me.
She's our personal Google over there.
All right. So, do we want to hear Julian's or Brooks first?
Let's do Julian's first because he says his first in the.
He does.
So
You can get the whole flow.
All right. Brooke, before I met you, I thought my world had everything I needed to be happy. I had nothing else to compare it to. Then you walked into my life and everything changed. I realized how empty my world was without you in it, and my old life was no longer capable of making me happy, not without you. I love everything about you, Brooke. I love the way you challenged me like no one ever has. I love the way you look at me like no one ever has. And I love the way you love me like no one ever has. Didn't I already say that? I can't imagine spending my life without you. And if you say yes to me in a few minutes, I won't have to. You look beautiful, by the way. I love that little snippet that he puts in there.
Still holds up, Jeanette.
yes.
Did I say it just as good?
I mean, you were close. You were close enough. I just close my eyes and picture Austin's face as they say it. Yeah.
All right, and Brooks. Julian, before I met you, my world revolved around one thing, me. And I liked it that way on my own. But then I met you and you saw through the... Guys, I can't say that word.
Facade.
I know the word.
Facade.
I can't say it. I know.
Okay, we got
It's not
you.
going to come out. I think that's my Southern voice. You saw me. You taught me to trust, how to let someone in, and what it truly means to fall in love. I can't possibly describe how much I love you, so I'll tell you why I love you. You see the world in a way that no one else does, and you appreciate everything, including me. There's no one in the world like you, and if you say yes in a few minutes, I'll get to spend the rest of my life trying to see the world through your eyes, appreciating everything, including you, the most unique, wonderful, and terribly handsome man I have ever met. Julian, and Brooke. Oh, never mind. That was it.
Beautiful.
What?
I'm just saying it was beautiful.
Oh, I thought you said I missed something. Because at the end
No.
of it, they cut it off at the wrong part. On here, it says Julie and Brooke had twins, and their names were ... That's not part of the vows.
Oh.
Here, they're in the vows.
Well,
Sorry,
I
I'll-
think we got the gist.
Yeah.
And I think
I think
Marie
that was
wants to hear you pronounce facade.
Give it a try for us, Amanda.
I can't even form it, guys. I say it facade. I can't say it. It's facade.
That is too funny.
He had too much apple juice.
I
Too
swear,
much
I'm just
apple
drinking
juice.
apple juice, guys.
I don't
The
know if we
apple
believe you
juice
anymore.
really went to your head, Amanda.
I can't. There are some words people can't say. That's one of mine. I don't know if any of you guys saw how big my eyes got when I saw that word. I was like, oh no,
I know. I was wondering. I was like, why is she struggling? Like,
I can't say that word.
it's too
I'm old
funny.
enough now. I know which words I can say and which words I've just given up on. I'm not going to stress myself out anymore trying new words. All right.
Oh, no worries.
Who are we on? Who's
Thanks,
next?
Eve.
Eve, did you say your number 3?
Oh, no, I don't think I did. I jumped on the bandwagon and kind of cheated on this one too. It was the only way to make my list happen. But my number 3 was Julian's speech to Victoria when he basically told her, if you're not going to treat her right, then you won't get to be in her life anymore. And then Brooke said a similar speech to Paul, which in her words, I would give you a similar speech, but I don't think you'd really care.
Yep. I love both of those moments.
And that was a point too, at least when, I think when Julian gave that speech to Victoria, I think Julian and Brooke weren't quite a thing yet. So
I
just
think they were.
Were they?
Yeah. Well, I
Okay.
think they were, but they weren't like. I think
they
they.
were on. I think they were on shaky ground at that point.
I think that was after he told her he loved her, and she like got weird, and they had kind of put the brakes on it for a little. Am I right about that?
That was at the
Tiffany,
end of
right?
the wedding episode, the Lucas and
Yes.
Peyton wedding. That was the very
Okay,
end
so
of
they
that
were
one.
so they were broken
they-
because they broke
Oh.
up, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because he tried to say he loved her. So yeah.
See, I didn't cheat like you all, and those were my number 2 and 3 moments.
Well, you got to get sneaky, Tiffany. Get more of them in here, right?
Okay, so I'll throw in one of my favorites with Nathan and Jamie was when Jamie asked his mom if she was a nerd in high school, and she's like, "Did you tell her I said I was a nerd?" Of course I did, Hales. I'm not gonna lie to the kid. I just thought that was a cute moment between the family.
And don't they say like, is that the same moment? I wish I could remember what they say. Something about she asked him something, and Nathan's like, "Don't ask me. I was the one that needed it too." I don't know. Oh, skip script that. There's another funny moment in that conversation, but I can't remember exactly how it goes.
They're standing in the kitchen, aren't they?
Yeah, they're sitting there
Yeah.
like eating breakfast. I can see it.
I can
just
see
can't
it too.
remember
I just can't think of what it is.
Oh well, I'm gonna have to go watch that after we get done. Hit up YouTube and see what it was that was said.
Oh, darn.
Yeah,
You have to go watch One Tree Hill.
I know.
All right, so my number 3 is kind of a 2 and 1 also, but when the shooting thing happened and the girls were stuck, Peyton was in the library, and I forget where Haley was, and Nathan and Lucas both ran back in, and everyone was like yelling at him about running back in. I think especially Whitey was making a big deal about it, and they basically, like, Lucas was sitting there with Peyton while she was bleeding out and trying to help her and everything, and Nathan was there with Haley basically protecting her, trying to be big man. It was just sweet.
Yeah, she's in the tutor center, right? Yeah, that's where they are.
Oh, that's right. Because
Yeah.
wasn't Jimmy in the room with
Jimmy's in
Haley?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he runs. Yeah, he
Mhm.
goes in there and they don't realize that it's him for a long time. Yeah. So what's that? Let's see. Number 2. What'd you have, Amanda?
Naylee's first kiss.
Oh, we already talked about that. We could talk about it more though. No.
I actually watched that whole moment today. I was scrolling on Pinterest and it came up. I think that's why it's so high on my list.
Yeah.
It's fresh
I
in my
rewatched a lot of mine just to kind of refresh my memory about. I knew which ones were on there, but I was like, I need to watch them again.
Well, I started my rewatch, but I started rewatching on season 4. And then
I tried
only-
that,
I'm only
and then
on
I jumped back to 6. I can't ever start. I mean, I don't know. Every time I try to watch season 4, I end up being impatient, jumping straight on over to 6. So
You know what I'm finding kind of interesting here, listening
What?
to you all guys?
what?
Nobody has said anything about Quinn or Clay.
Yes, that was my number 10. But Logan calling her mom.
yeah.
That was the only moment. They're not my favorite, so that was
I
the only
don't
moment I
like-
could come up with.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
I
is
don't like
nobody
either
here
of
a
them.
Quinn and Clay fan?
No.
I don't like either of them. And I remember
either.
around Christmas, I think when Jeanette posted the like front of the tree, back of the tree edit. And I was
Yeah.
like, it looks good, but I would put Clay and Quinn on the back.
Yeah, they're not.
That much? I don't hate them.
I like Clay
don't-
better than I do Quinn.
I don't know. I
But-
don't hate them. I just don't love them as much as everyone else seems to. I didn't realize it was such an unpopular opinion until I joined the group. Then I was like,
Yeah.
why do so many people like them?
I don't feel like they got enough time for me to fall in love with them. I mean, but then I don't know. I mean, I fell in
I
love with
don't know.
Julia, so I don't
I-
know. Maybe it was just
I think for me, the way they came in, I feel like Quinn was brought in as a replacement for Peyton because she had just left. So they needed a new character to kind of fill that type of
Yeah.
role. And
Yeah.
then Clay did the same for Lucas.
yeah.
So
I
I feel
agree.
like I just saw them as kind of like the interlopers. It's like, no,
Yeah.
I wasn't their biggest fans. I didn't hate them. I just didn't
don't
love
care
them.
about them at all. Yeah.
yeah.
Dopey, don't you
Makes-
like him? Do you not like him either?
I don't care either way, to be honest.
Yeah, they're just kind of there.
When the way that she came in, like with the whole she had a husband and she just like up and left him for no reason thing kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Same.
I mean, I thought it was kind of weird because you don't just do that. And with Clay, like I said, like I thought he was a good friend of Nathan and stuff. I just don't really care about the Clay Quinn relationship. I did love Quinn's relationship with Logan. I think that she would be a good stepmom if we were to see more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need a reunion.
I didn't like the way Quinn was introduced with, being separated from her husband, David. But then when they brought David back with the other sister,
Yeah.
what's her name?
Taylor?
Taylor.
Taylor. Yeah, I was like, okay, I don't feel so bad for David anymore.
Yeah. Agreed.
Sorry.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and I said, who does that?
Right.
Right.
Like, you're dating your ex-wife's sister. Like, how do you think this is a good idea?
Well, I think
I
he,
was
he
gonna
did.
say if Taylor's the one who should be on the back of the tree.
And
I
then the
love
way that
Taylor, though.
Haley was with the whole thing, like so protective.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was.
Yeah, I agree. You're right, though. None of us are Clan fans for sure.
No, I'm surprised by that. I thought at least somebody here would be. I knew I wasn't.
Because we're all Brulian fans, or at least 3 of us are. I don't know about you two. So
I'm an Ailey. I love.
I mean, I'm Nayli too, but
So I will totally admit on here because you're through a screen and you can't hit me right now.
no.
She'll
And
find a
this is gonna
way.
ruin. Is this gonna ruin our friendship? I
It
think
might. It might. You might not talk to me for a couple days. I don't think Austin is that cute.
Here's the thing. I'm not sure that I do, but I think Julian is. And so for that reason, Austin is.
Yeah, like I loved Julian and Brooke together. I
Yeah.
think they were a great match, and I
It's
love
that grin. How do you not love that grin of his? I mean, it's like,
you
has
know
anybody seen Walker? He looks really good in Walker.
I haven't watched
He's
it,
bad.
and I
He's
really want
bad.
to.
He's a bad guy, but he looks
I can
good.
see that.
Oh, your typical type.
I know. It's perfect. He's pretty toxic though. I'm not sure if I can get behind that one. I don't know.
You know, I didn't really I didn't realize that I didn't really like Austin until I had to start making edits for the groups, and every time I went in there to pick pictures of him, I'm like, I just can't. I just can't. And
Well, you
that's
just need me to find those pictures for you. I'll find the good ones.
I always let you do his edits because I'm just like
I love it.
I love Brilliant, but I'm not the biggest fan of
That's okay.
the actor. I mean,
I'll
actually, I
forgive you
do
on that.
love him in
Mhm.
other things, but just I love him as an actor. Don't get me wrong.
You're just not attracted to him.
I'm just not as attracted to him as
There
I
you
am
go.
somebody as like Nathan.
Well, you know, yeah.
Nathan's Nathan.
I can
I
understand
was
that.
never even that attracted to Lucas.
This is how I feel about, like, a lot of people think Clay's really attractive. I don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
No, I don't see that.
No, Tiffany, who do you find attractive?
No, we've gotten way off track. So let's just go ahead and
I know.
Yeah, I did like Julian. I honestly I'm not a huge fan of Nathan, which is I know not a popular opinion, but I didn't think he was very attractive, honestly. He's not my favorite.
I like him older.
When it first started, I think I was more of a Lucas girl.
Mhm.
And then in the end, it was definitely more Julian.
There you
In the
go.
beginning, I was more Lucas, and then it went to Nathan, and then it just stayed with Nathan. I never steered away. Shelby?
Well, I'm obsessed with Chad Michael Murray. I think you guys know that. So
Mhm.
Lucas, but also I love um what is wrong with me?
Getting closer to 11 o'clock over there.
Yeah, it's getting
Um,
late.
I love
Describe
Lucas.
him.
What is wrong with me? Not skills, not Nathan, not mouth.
John Fergie.
Berkey, John.
Oh no.
Chase?
Owen.
Owen.
Owen. Well,
okay.
yeah, Owen's hot.
Owen. I don't
He's
know
a
why.
jerk, but
Oh. Yeah, he's a jerk, but yeah, he's pretty nice.
he's
for that.
attractive. Definitely.
Yeah, I was glad that you turned me on to Magic Mike. Let's just say that.
Now I need to get you to watch True Blood. He's in that too.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. He's a werewolf. It's wonderful.
Oh,
We're off
I'm
track now.
the shows.
Oh,
And I definitely wouldn't kick him out if he was naked in the backseat of my car. That's for sure.
No,
definitely not. Definitely not.
no.
It's crazy.
I forgot about that.
I know. What is she thinking?
I think I saw that
Anybody's-
scene again just a couple days ago. It's like, I'm a woman, it's cute. You're a big hairy dude.
I mean, maybe it might be startling if that happened. That's true. But then I would probably kick myself afterwards, like, oh, what did you do? Why did you kick him out? Like, you know, let's redo that.
Character. All right, so number 2. Mine was already mentioned. It was Naylee's first kiss.
Mine was mentioned too. It's when Julian's looking for Sam. So we've already talked about that.
Eve?
Mine was also mentioned already. It was the high heels.
Oh,
Great
okay.
moment. Yeah.
Mine was mentioned. Mine was Julian and Victoria's big speech together.
Okay.
Mm. Shelby?
Mine was graduation.
Oh,
Oh,
I
that's
was
a good
sad
one.
for them.
yeah. That was on my
Like, they
first
thank you
list.
so much.
It's
That
been
was a
so
good
long since I've seen that. Like I said, it's been so long since I've seen season 4. That was so, I remember it being so good though. Haley
That's the
goes,
only reason I restarted on season 4. It's just to go
always skip
through
that one.
Haley's pregnancy.
but that's what also, what do you love about it, Shelby? I'm trying to refresh my memory what all happens. I know Haley gives birth. That's,
Well, that and I don't know. It was just like they went through so much during their high school year, and between the shooting and losing Jimmy and
Mhm.
Lucas losing Keith, and Nathan kind of coming to the realization how Dan is, and Lucas going through the neglect from Dan. It just seemed like the whole graduation was just like this celebration of all the crap that they've been through.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
for sure. That was
And
good.
also too, the way when Haley said, "There's more to my speech, but I think I'm having my baby,"
Yes.
and then the way Nathan just stands up.
Yeah, they did
Aw.
that perfectly. That was a
Really
really
good.
good moment. I love that one. All
I
right.
like that she was able to do the graduation speech too.
Right.
Yeah.
She kept it going.
You
know?
got
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah.
Don't think I could have done the same.
No.
I love her holding on to the
Yes, I could see it.
Oh, I would have been like, "Heck, I'm out of here. I gotta go. I'm having a baby."
and just her woo. We're like, yeah, at least us
Let's
moms
go.
can feel that.
Right?
Like, all right.
Funny.
All right. So number 1 moments. We're good to go.
Has yours- yeah, I'm ready for mine. Has
Yeah.
yours been in?
Mine's
What about
already
you?
there. Seeing
Okay.
the boys after she's had them and seeing Julian with all of them.
Okay. My number 1 is when Julian buys Brooke her old house and he surprises her with it.
I forgot about that.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great one.
He's so sweet. I mean, he just takes her in there and, he tells her, like you said that this house, deserved a family and now it has one, the best ones. Yeah, I remember this line. He says, our family. And so it's just really sweet. And she goes into the whole, I dreamed about this without even knowing it. I dreamed of you and the boys. And it's just a perfect moment.
It was. That's a good one. I literally completely forgot that he built that house. This is why I started rewatching, because it was
Yeah.
getting
This
to
is-
be years.
6 and on, I have memorized perfectly. It's everything prior to that that gets fuzzy.
Mine's the opposite, because I have restarted so many times and then
Yeah.
I get distracted by something else
Right.
and I don't finish.
I've
No.
watched one a lot and then I stop and then I jump straight to Julian because I just can't wait any longer. I'm awful. It's just like I do with Gilmore Girls. I skip straight to Logan. Can't help it.
Maybe I just need to skip to like 6.
That's what you need to do. Just get there.
Just jump up. Eve, what about you? What's your number 1?
My number 1, and the reason I picked this one is because I'm not a crier, and this is like the one moment in all of One Tree Hill that really gets me and makes me bawl like a baby. It's when it's right before Jimmy pulls the trigger and Keith is telling him, that voice in your head that's telling you it doesn't get better, it's wrong.
Mhm.
And just seeing how much pain he's in,
Oh,
it just
Yeah,
kills
that
me
was
every time.
That was
the
a
whole
hard.
scene is just heartbreaking.
Yeah, just seeing how much pain he's in. And like you can see it like when he right in that moment right before he pulls that trigger, you can see how much pain he's in, and that just gets me every single time.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's a sweetest moment, but it definitely
Emotional for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely an emotional one.
Yeah. What about you, Tiffany? Have we talked about your number 1?
No, mine was almost yours, Jeanette, the house. I
Yeah.
had that in my spot and then I'm like, no, I just took it off to put in there the one where Julian comes to Brooke's house and gives her this speech that he came here for a girl, but it was the other girl in the book. I love that speech. That's My
Yeah.
favorite Julian line of the series. I love it. It's so sweet. And just the look on Brooke's face when he says it.
Mhm.
I
Is
love
that the
that
same?
moment.
Is that the same speech when he gives her the jacket, or is that a different one, like the Letterman jacket?
Yes.
Yeah, and he says we're
Yeah,
going
we're-
steady. Oh,
yeah.
he's so cute.
Love that one.
Yeah, I like that too.
That was
I didn't even think about that one though. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's
When
got to be my
Brooke's
favorite
dancing.
Julian moment.
What about you, Shelby?
My favorite, my top one was when Brooke moved in with Lucas and Karen, and Lucas painted the door for her.
Yes, that is a good one.
She
a- I
she
forgot
was
about that.
so lost. Like she felt so lost, and that just made her a little bit more comfortable. And I think it meant the world to her.
Yeah, yeah,
I agree.
that's really cool. I forgot about that one. That's a really good one.
I forgot about that one too, but that is a
See, Lucas and Brooke had some really awesome moments too. He was just so good to her when he wasn't chasing Peyton. Right? It was like,
that's what he was always doing.
I know, but there were some good moments there for a little while. What, like half of season 2, half of season 3? He was good to her.
Even when he would say like he was going for Brooke, I still felt like he was going for Peyton. Like there was certain times where I was confused about who he was going for at the moment.
Yeah,
Just because I guess in my head he was supposed to be going for Peyton.
he was confused too, so that's the problem.
He was confused. I was confused.
Everybody's confused. Yeah.
Confusing time for everybody.
Oh, I was trying to see. So I have 2 moments that were on my honorable mention that I'm gonna go ahead and throw out here because we haven't talked about Julian enough as it is. So one of the moments that I almost put on my list was the first moment where, well, I think they had met before, but when he comes into her store to ask her to do the costumes for the movie, and she's doing that Breakfast Club dance. And I just love his line, when he's like, let me guess, you were the Priss. And she says, you were the stoner. He's like, if you say so, they end up together in the end. And I was just like, oh. And that's the first time we see that killer grin that I'm talking about. So I think that was the moment that I felt for him, definitely.
That was
And then that comes back, later when he makes her like the CD of that song and sends it to her on her wedding day, and I'm just so adorable.
I love
What
that.
else did I have? Yes, it's so cute.
I think one of my honorable mentions was right when right as Lydia was dying, and she said something like I did good, didn't I? And then Haley looked at her and said, you did everything, Mom.
Yeah.
And I almost got choked up just repeating that line.
That one, I remember watching that scene, and when
It was so hard to watch.
Taylor, I think, even when she's with her, I think that moment just really got to me. I mean, just in how kind she was with her words to her and telling her, like that she was proud of her. And, because we saw Taylor, obviously, she rebelled and did things because, of her own, self-esteem issues and things like that. And so it was just really sweet to see her mom with that conversation. And
just
that
telling
one
her,
gets me.
It's like, I know you're going to turn out fine because I was just like you.
Yeah. Really sweet.
Shelby, do you have any honorable mentions?
I just have the one when Millie bought, when Brooke was really discouraged about no one buying anything from her store, and Millie bought the first dress and wrote her out the check, and then Brooke hung it up.
Yeah.
Love that one.
That was a good one.
But that was like, I don't know, for me, that I liked Millie from basically the start, but that was the one thing that I really, really liked about her was like how loyal basically she was to Brooke.
Yeah, I loved Millie. She was a good friend and really liked her a lot.
She made me mad a couple times, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
overall I liked her.
Yeah.
She hit a rough patch there, but it didn't really change my mind too much.
No, it was just
I usually
Just a
forget that
moment.
bad patch and just think about her and Mouth married.
yeah,
They were so cute together.
They were.
so cute.
And like
They
her
were
whole
perfect.
the storyline, like with her on drugs and stuff, because of Alex, that's not really what made me upset. It was more the fact that like Mouth was with her through all of that, and then like when he gained weight, she was being a royal jerk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the moment that I hate more than anything too.
Mm-hmm.
Same. Yeah, she was very super.
Was it she said fat on
Yeah.
air?
So crazy.
Yeah, I remember when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, is this like a live TV show that they're doing right now?
Right? Yeah, that was shocking.
She couldn't hold it in anymore.
I hate that whole storyline. I try to skip right
Oh.
over it.
I do too.
Yeah. Not my
I also
favorite.
don't like the Dan and Rachel.
Ugh, I don't really either.
Ooh, that's what we should do.
That
Top
was
10
real
worst
icky.
couples.
Yeah, that would be my number one. That was just really, really icky. I can't think of a better word for it. It was just so icky.
Yeah.
Wrong on so many levels.
And then the way that Rachel talked about it, like with Nathan, like when they like when she first saw him, she said, I used to want you to be my daddy and now I'm your new mommy. I was like,
So
it's like you can stop talking now.
yeah. Oh, Rachel. She was a mess.
One of my favorite lines to her of hers was when we seen her talking to Jamie, and she was like, I remember when you were just a rumor in third period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was kind
She's
of
so
holding out her hands like real awkwardly. Like, I remember when you were a rumor in third period. Like, he didn't need to know that.
Everyone talks so adult in front of Jamie, though. I mean, like, it wasn't just her. I feel like some of the things they said, I'm like, I would not say that in front of my 5-year-old, but okay.
But I think that's why Jamie turns out the way Jamie turns
Right. He's like the coolest kid ever, you know? Like, yeah.
out. He has Chuck as a friend. I mean, what other
Yeah.
friends does this boy have except
Right.
Brooke and Julian and Sam? And
Yep. Yeah.
he hangs out with all the adults.
Yeah. Well, I guess
All right.
any other
Any-
other moments anybody needs to throw out there? I think we've covered just about everything.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we're
Okay.
good.
All right. Well, we just want to thank everybody for listening, and we'd love to hear your feedback. Did you agree with our moments? Were there any that we forgot or any that you thought we just got totally wrong? Leave us your thoughts in the comments, and then make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. Bye, everyone.